If your toddler just started school, or maybe you're homeschooling your child, and you sometimes get frustrated or you're worried about their performance academically, you are not alone. Don't worry. I'm going to share some tips that have worked for me with you because I believe that every parent who is concerned about their child's academics should hear this, especially for toddlers, because it worked for my toddler. So let's go. When we first started, it was difficult. Our son started school at exactly 2 years old, and as at that time, he didn't say more than 5 words. He didn't even say mommy or daddy, and we're first time parents then. So we were worried about his speech, and at some point, we even thought he was autistic. So when we shared our concerns with the school, they said we should bring him in, so we started. And the first thing I'm grateful for is the fact that from the first day he went to school and every other day, he came back with homework, which gave us something to work with on a daily basis. So now here are 7 tips I have used from when he was 2 years up until now that he's four, going to five, and they have worked for me. They are awesome. The first thing you need to do is make time. That's what I did too. No matter how busy I am, I make sure I put him through his homework personally every day he comes back from school. Look at his books, look at what they wrote, look at the gibberish they wrote, look at the good things they wrote, help him with his homework, check his communication book to see if his teacher has recorded any concerns about his development or if he has met any new milestones. And that helps me, it gave me something to work with and it helps me to know where to put my efforts to help his development. Now, I know these homeworks can be a bit overbearing sometimes, but the good outweighs the bad. So see it as an opportunity to bond with your child. Just make time, even if it's 30 minutes out of your entire busy 24 hours. Your work is important, but so is your child's academic performance. So make time. Tip two, patience. Take it from someone who is very impatient. Patience is a game changer. We learned A to E about 100 times. I won't even lie. And there were times I snapped at him, but then I had to retrace my steps immediately. And I kept telling my husband that in this life, I don't think I'll ever be a teacher. Because if one child could drain me just to learn alphabet, then what happens to dealing with 20 to 30 kids who just want to eat biscuits, drink juice, pee, cry, and want their mommy? But then patience is very important. So please, you need to practice patience with that child. Tip number three, if your child is struggling with pencil grip, get this pencil, big pencil. This one is very demoralizing because when you imagine that other kids are writing and your child is not even able has not been able to hold their pencil properly, so they can't write. So you always have to support their hand. You will definitely get worried, especially if you're a first time mom or you're a first time dad. I even reached out to some of my friends who had toddlers to ask them at what age their kids started writing. But that didn't help me much because children develop differently. They meet their milestones differently, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't support them. So when I spoke with his teacher, she suggested that I get big pencil. And I don't know the magic that it does, but his pencil grip improved drastically and he started writing without my support. So please, if your child is struggling with pencil grip, just get that big pencil and you'll just see how everything will change drastically. Tip number four, faith. Proverbs 2 verse 6. For the Lord gives wisdom, and out of his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. Of course, knowledge comes from God. So you can't just give up on your toddler because they're frustrating you and they're not writing their alphabet and their numbers yet. I mean, they are babies. And as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself because me, I worry a lot and I can be hyper. But just keep declaring over your child. And while you are working, just know that they will get to the top of the class if that's what you want. Don't give up. Keep declaring over them and keep putting in the work. You will just see the miracle that is going to happen. Faith. Tip five, practice. You can't practice today, then you allow 1 week to pass before you practice again. Let them practice consistently. What I did was I kept giving him papers to scribble his gibberish, on it really helped his pencil grip too, and it improved his writing because he kept practicing until he got it. And I also used his toys to teach him how to count and arrange things. Thankfully, he loves to arrange things, groundnut peels, pegs, and it really helped his cognitive development. So please make sure that you're giving them paper and pencil to scribble. Just keep scribbling until you'll be shocked at how much they will grow in just a short period of time. Tip number 6, you might want to do a little extra work by stretching them a little bit. That was what I did. I introduced new letters and new numbers before time. And I know you might say, it's too much. He's a toddler. Why don't you allow him follow the school curriculum? Me, like I said before, I'm hyperactive and I don't like anything to disturb me. So I don't want to hear that, oh, he's not meeting up with this, or we are struggling with this, or so I introduced those new alphabets and new numbers so that by the time they introduced it in class, he was already, he knew them already. That way, he didn't struggle. He was always ready. Then don't get it twisted. I'm not the kind of parent that expects my child to come first all the time, but at least you should do above average. And I want to see a balance. I don't want to see 50% score here, 90 here, and that would mean that there are some areas I'm not doing well. So when I noticed that he was doing better in maths and English, and he wasn't doing so well in other subjects like creative arts, coloring, and cultural studies, I asked his teacher to send his books home every weekend. So during weekends, we went over other subjects. That's where I was able to strike a balance, and it really helped him improve academically. So you might want to stretch them just a little bit. My method, it worked for me, it might work for you as well. And finally, playtime. Please don't joke with their playtime. My own child, just like his mother, is very impatient. Once he gets tired, he will just start throwing tantrums, and that's the end of it. So I know whenever I notice that he's tired, I just let him be. After a while, we continue. So learning is fun that way. It doesn't look like a burden or stress. He sees it as fun. So please allow them ample playtime. It's very important for their development as well. So, in summary, faith, patience, hard work. These methods worked for me like magic. So much that even during his tests, sometimes we don't get to revise. During his exams, we don't get to revise, and he's always ready. These last exams, he was so sick that he wasn't in school the entire week before the exams, and he didn't join revision because he was sick, but he still came out tops. He was taking injection and writing his exams. I didn't even touch his books. He did very well. So I had to tell myself that I must share these tips with parents who are concerned about their toddlers' academic performance. It has to be that there's someone out there who will need this and it's going to work for them. That's why I shared these tips. Before I go, I know some people might say this is too much. This is too much for toddlers. They are babies and their education is not so important. Please, the school system is changing everywhere. And if you don't help your child academically, you might have to struggle later. My son is 4 and he reads fluently. He reads age appropriate books. Sometimes he even pronounces words that are shown on TV. And we look at each other, my husband and I, we are shocked. School system is changing, and the reason why he can read that well is because of the foundation he has been given. So please help your child while you can, so you don't struggle later or begin to think that your child is not intelligent just because you didn't give them the right foundation. I do hope that these tips are helpful and that someone finds them very interesting. Thank you very much for watching my video. At this point, you should subscribe. There is much more from where that came from. I'll see you very soon with another interesting and informative video. Enjoy your day.